So we had a full moon yesterday, and that means for the next 2 weeks, the moon is going to be waning, which essentially it's just going to be shedding its light every single night. So one of my clients, Coco, around a full moon, she and her husband, she makes her husband do this too, where they write down everything that they want to let go of. And I've heard of this before, but she was like, and you don't read it again. Like you don't look back over the list to make sure that you've gotten everything down, because then you're like reabsorbing it, bringing it back into your thoughts. So I thought we would take a little note from Coco and start off our practice just by thinking about the things that we want to let go of. It can be silly things, it can be big things, it can be things that don't seem like they matter, but they do. And I want to just take the first couple minutes to write down a couple of those things that we'd like to see shed out of our lives or wane out of our lives. And then we're going to take this piece of paper and crumple it up, rip it up. And after practice, we're going to flush it down the toilet because it's a Scorpio moon today. We have a bunch of planets in water signs as well. So I thought that would be a good way to eliminate what we want to let go of. So we'll just take a couple moments here to write down a handful of things. Again, they can be big, they can be small, they can be anything in between. And do your best to not read them again after you get them out of your body. It is kind of hard to not look at them again. Uh, but it's okay. I think the intention is what matters the most. When the moon is waning, when light is moving away from the moon, it's the best time to eliminate. It's the best time to shed. It's the best time to let go. On a physical level, we're more efficient when it comes to detoxification during this time, but also on a mental and emotional level. All right, let's take about 30 more seconds. Just write everything out that you can possibly think of. Okay. And let's take that piece of paper and crumple it up, rip it up, whatever feels most appropriate for you. And we'll just get rid of it for now. We'll definitely get rid of it after practice. But I think that's a really nice way to start, just by thinking about what you want to let go of, what you want to release. So now that we've done that, let's find our way to our yoga mat. You can lay down on your backside and bend your knees, put your feet wide on the edges of your mat, and then let your knees fall together, making kind of like a little tent. Take a few really deep breaths where you are just paying attention to that in and out. I can't remember when it was that I read the little excerpt about water and how that astrologer went to a school and put the kids in groups based on their signs, and the water kids are the ones that didn't even want to start the project because they knew, or they thought they knew, they couldn't do it. More qualities about water. Water, we can't survive without it. It is nurturing. It provides sustenance. It, all of those things. So this, I think, is, I love the water and earth axis. I think it feels so good to me. It feels kind of like we have the container, we have the big concrete bird water feeder, water thing for birds to bathe in, bird bath. And then you have the water inside. And that's just the way I think of this axis of Taurus and Scorpio. You have something that is sturdy and reliable and provide structure. And then you've got the formless water on the inside that doesn't have a shape of its own. It does better when there is support around it. That can be support from other people, can be support that you generate within yourself. So let's just take a moment, think about if you could look at your life like on an Excel spreadsheet every day, every moment, the events that happened, the steps you took, the actions that you invested your time in. Even though it might not feel like you knew what you were doing every single step of the way, all of the past steps you've taken, all of the past actions you've taken have brought you right here to this moment. So even if you've made decisions that you're not proud of, even if you've done things that you feel like you could have done better, your knowingness, your intuition, your wise woman has kept you alive and brought you to right here, right now. So let's just find some support within ourselves for ourselves. A little bit of confidence that we know where we're going and we know how to do it. We know what steps to take. We know what steps to avoid. We can come up to situations, feel them out, and adjust as we need to. And I think that feels so supportive. Support that comes from the inside. It's not that we're chasing that our people to make us feel better. We're generating that feel better feeling within ourselves by trusting ourselves, by having faith in ourselves, by understanding that everything that we've done has brought us to this moment. So there must be something valuable in all of those past actions. Start to move your knees from side to side. You can go as slowly as you'd like. You can pause where you'd like to pause. And then going along that same vein, that same theme, I think we can release judgment for our past when we felt like we didn't know what to do or we feel like we made the wrong decision. I'm using air quotes in my mind because I don't think there are wrong decisions. But my goodness, we can convince ourselves that we've done the wrong thing. So let's, even if you didn't write judgment down on your little paper, let's imagine that being wiped away as the light is wiped off the moon over the next couple weeks. The next time your knees fall to the right side, let them hang out there for a little bit. You can stack your right ankle on top of your left knee. Or not, it's up to you. Do what feels good for your knees, for your legs, for your outer hips. Take a big breath in through your nose. And then let that breath out through your mouth. Get as much air out of your lungs as you possibly can. And let's take a couple windshields side to side, a little bit of movement, rolling your low back, your glutes down into the mat. And then let your knees settle onto the left side. You can stack your left ankle up on your right knee or not. You just listen to what feels right for you. And take a big breath in through your nose, let it out through your mouth, and get as much air out of your lungs as you possibly can. Let's move the knees back to neutral, back so they point up to the ceiling, then wiggle your feet in together. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, open your knees for a triple diamond. You can take your arms out to the sides in a cactus shape, in a T shape, or you can bring your pointer fingers and thumbs together, making that triangle up above your head. With so many planets and water signs, we have the moon, we have Mars, and Saturn and Neptune. Saturn in a water sign asks us to take personal responsibility for our emotional reactions. And sometimes when we do personal responsibility, we get a little judgmental, we get a little critical. So anytime you notice that creeping up, creeping underneath the surface in your thoughts, remember that the moon is waxing and it's time to let go. I mean, the moon is waning. We're shedding, we're eliminating, we're detoxifying. Take a big breath in through your nose. Let that go through your mouth. Let's do 2 more. Really, really overemphasize your exhale. Get all that stuff out. And then bring your knees so they point up towards the ceiling. Ground your feet down on the mat. And bring your right knee towards your chest. Take your left leg out long on the ground. Take some movement with your right foot, some circles, some points, some flexes. Notice what it sounds like and what it feels like. And then let your foot be still, let it relax. And we'll do the same with our leg, our right knee. We'll take the knee from side to side, maybe some big dramatic circles. The objective is just to bring motion into the joint. Motion is lotion, keeps our joint lubricated by producing synovial fluid, which is the lubrication in the joint. We need movement to get that lotion, to get that medicine. Let's bring our right knee back towards center, back towards our chest. Grab onto the back of your right thigh. With an inhale, stretch your leg up. So you're pointing up to the ceiling, toes are pointed. With an exhale, bend your knee, flex your foot. Inhale, lift it up and point. Exhale, bend and flex. Up and down a couple times on your own. We inhale the leg long, and then we exhale a bend into the knee. This is targeting our hamstring, the back part of our right leg. Again, I imagine just it's kind of like a flossing action. We are stretching and releasing, stretching and releasing. So we don't give it an opportunity to reflex and to tighten up and to protect itself. Let's do one more inhale and an exhale. And then we'll bring this leg into a half happy baby. Bring your right foot to your right hand. You can bend your left knee if that feels better. This is kind of intense in the right hip joint this morning. But do your best to release as you breathe out. Release tension around your hips, around your abdomen, around your jaw, your temples. Yoga's so amazing. It blows my mind just how much it gets us into our bodies so we can recognize that there's always more room. There's always more space. There's always more that we can soften, that we can relax. And often we have to come back to that many times, just like cleaning up the kitchen or taking a shower. Those old patterns, those old shapes they want to stick around. They're comfortable here with us. Of course they are, because we're wonderful people. But do your best to chase them away. Let it go. Take that exhale. Release the patterns, the shapes, all those words that you wrote down at the start of our practice. And let's bring our right knee in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Lift your nose up towards your knee. And then bring your left leg to a hover. So your heel comes up off of the ground. Check back in with your core, your belly button. Make sure you're hugging it downward towards the floor. And take some pulses with this left leg, keeping your chest up high, your shoulders off the ground. Well, up and down, up and down. The full moon's still pretty bright. There's still a lot of light. It just happened yesterday. The moon's still in Scorpio. So we're still close to that peak of energy. So we're going to burn a little bit of energy today. We're going to stretch a lot, do a lot of reflecting and releasing. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Check in with your core and shoulders. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your heel and your head down towards the ground. Stretch your right leg up to the ceiling and then put your hands down beside your hips, either side. We're going to alternate our legs. One goes to a hover, the other lifts up. So let's lift the left leg off of the ground and then switch the legs. Take the right leg out long, left leg to the ceiling. Switch again. Continue to move from side to side. I think we should aim for 10 on each side, but I haven't been counting. I think we're at 4 on each side. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Pull your knees down towards your chest. Take a couple circles. Move your knees around your hips. Keep them together so they're moving the same way. Change the directions. And then we'll come back to center. Then we'll open both knees out wide. Move them forward towards the top of your mat, then reconnect them together. Pull them in towards your chest. Take a couple circles around that way. Again, just bringing movement around our pelvis. Let's change the direction of those circles. And then bring your knees back together at your chest. Grab onto your left leg. Take your right leg out long. Let's find some movement with your left foot, your left ankle, points, flexes, circles, rotation, whatever movement you can muster. Notice what you feel, notice what you hear. Use the concreteness, the tangibleness of your body to help you stay in the present moment. Relax your foot and then find movement with your left leg. You can do rainbow arches, you can do circles. There's so many ways that you can bring some movement into this side here. Bring your left knee back to center. Take your hands behind your leg. Lift your leg up to the ceiling. Inhale, point your toes. Exhale, bend your knee, flex your toes. Up and down. Inhale, a long leg. And then exhale, a bent knee. Up and down. Saying good morning to your hamstring. Let's do one more up and down. And then we'll bring our left leg into a half happy baby on this left side. Again, you can put your right foot on the mat if you want to ease your way into this posture. Scorpio and Taurus. For the full moon yesterday, the sun was in Taurus and the moon was in Scorpio. This is an interesting axis to contemplate. We have two very different ends of the spectrum. Taurus is all about form and structure and providing and tangible results that you can measure, giving, like, providing food and shelter. That is a very tangible effort. Scorpio, on the other hand, is water. It's more about transformation and rebirth and metamorphosis, beginnings and endings. Those things are really hard to quantify. Can also be looked at as Taurus being I have, so your possessions, your assets. And then Scorpio would be we have, it's shared resources, it's inheritances, it's resources coming from outside of yourself. Let's release this left leg. Bring your left knee in towards your chest and give yourself a squeeze. Lift your nose up towards your knee. Get your shoulders up as high as you can away from the ground, and then bring your right heel to a hover. Start to take little micro movements with that right leg, pulsing up and pulsing down. Pull your belly button down towards the ground. Lift your shoulders up higher. Squeeze your glutes so everything is involved. We're not flinging anything. We're not noodling our way through. We are in control, capitalizing on Taurus, what we can manage with touch, things that are here and concrete and measurable in our reality. So do that with your body. Take account of everything. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your heel and your head down to the ground. Take your left leg up high. Bring your hands down beside your hips. And we're going to alternate our legs again, side to side. Lift your right heel to a hover and then switch your legs. Alternate one side to the other, switching back and forth. Drawing your belly button down towards the ground, bringing stability through your body. Let's not rely on any one part of ourselves to do this task. Let's incorporate the whole body. We'll do 5 more on each side. Halfway there. Keep it going strong. Last one. Amazing. Bring your knees down towards your chest. Find some movement, some rocks around, rolling your low back and your glutes into the mat. And then work your way back to neutral. Let's bring both feet into our hands for a happy baby. We're going to pull our knees down beside our rib cage, both sides of the pelvis engaged. Scorpio rules the like the groin, the reproductive organs, because it has to do with rebirth, endings and beginnings. In this area of our body, our hips, our groin, we typically clench these muscles when we feel rejection. Now, this can be self-rejection, like a reject what we've done, what we said, how we behaved in that situation, but it can also be rejection from other people. So put your focus there and allow those parts of your spirit to mend themselves, as well as this, this part of your body, your physical body. Allow it to get some care, some nourishment, some stretch, some medicinal movement. Let's release our grip on our feet, pull the knees down towards your chest, cross your legs at your ankles, and let's take a couple rocks and rolls up and down along our spine. Good. After number 3 or 4, come up to your seat, roll over your feet, and we will come into a tabletop position. From table, work through a couple rounds of cat and cow. Close your eyes. Let your focus start to wander inside of yourself. Bring your spine back down to neutral. And let's take our feet back. So we work our way into a high plank. We're going to take our feet back so our legs are long. We have a long line from hips to heels, and then a long line from hips to shoulders. Look down at your hands, make sure they fall below your shoulders, and then try to pull your shoulder blades together towards your spine. So we're integrated through our upper body. Now let's take an inhale right here, then exhale to downward facing dog. Take your hips up and move them back. Take a couple of pedals out with your feet, pressing your heels down towards the ground, one side at a time. And press both heels down into the mat. We're going to walk our way back towards the back edge of the mat, going back to our feet. Walk your feet together. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain pose, stand up tall. Reach up for the ceiling, big breath in. Big breath out, fold your body forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. High plank, walk your way forward. Hands fall below your shoulders. Take an exhale here. Inhale. Exhale to downward facing dog. Again, find a little bit of movement, continuing to wake up your feet and your ankles. These are the parts of our body that help us stay connected to the earth. They are very important. And press your heels downward. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And again, we'll walk back to the back part of the mat. One little handprint at a time. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain pose, stand up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, walk your way out to your plank pose. Breathe into plank. Breathe out to downward facing dog. Last time, take a couple of petals. Really focusing on opening up the feet, creating space, movement, all those tiny little bones. There's so many tiny little bones in our feet and ankles. See if you can just move them around a little bit. Press down into both heels. Let's walk our feet apart so they're on the edges of the mat. And then again, we'll walk our way back to the back edge of the mat. Let's take a halfway lift with wide feet. And then interlace your hands above your tailbone. Press your arm bones long so they reach to the wall behind you, and then fold your way forward. Relax your head. Relax your shoulders. Everything rolls over your thighs towards the ground. Release your hands for ragdoll. Grab onto your elbows. Release your spine forward, your head, shake it out. Relax your jaw. And release your hands down towards the ground. Walk your feet in together. Big toes touch, little space between your heels. On an inhale, find your Utkatasana. Bring your feet, your seat down low. Stack your hands over your shoulders, over your head. Plant through the right leg. We're going to stand up and lift the left leg. Flex through your left foot so it's really active. And then take that left foot back for an airplane pose. We'll send that left heel to the wall behind us. Reach back with your fingertips, long arms, which helps to open up your chest and shoulders. And pull your right leg back through. Lift your hands back up to the ceiling. Woo! Oh dear. And we're going to step our left foot out into a warrior one. So we're just going to put it out towards the front of the mat, pivot your back heel down to the ground. It's a different way of getting into the pose, but we're going to come down nice and low into our front leg. Focus your eyes ahead of you. You notice any judgment, any thoughts that are not relevant to what we're doing, anything like that, let it go. Let it go. Come back to that idea again and again. Let's straighten out the front leg. Reach your way forward and start to fold over your front leg, placing your fingertips on the mat, either side of your left foot. Long, dramatic pyramid pose, getting into the back side of the front leg. Let's bend into the front knee, pivot your back toes to point forward to the top of your mat. From here, we're going to find a standing split. So we'll press into the left leg and lift up through the right. Bring both feet to the mat, all 10 toes line up. Again, your toes touch here. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Then Utkatasana. Sit down low into your legs. Whew. Bring your hands together at your heart. We're going to twist to the left. Put your right arm over on your left knee, your left thigh. Really press your palms together so you can rotate through your chest and rotate your spine. Make your way back to center, back to neutral, hands together. On an exhale, fold your way forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Step or jump your feet back to plank. From your plank, we'll take a flow. So on or off your knees, lower down to the ground. Take a breath into cobra or upward facing dog. And then back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Walk your hands back to your feet. Walk your feet together. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Utkatasana, bend your legs. Go down low into your hips. As low as you can. Find your comfort zone. And then see if you want to sink a little bit deeper. Ground down into your left leg, your left thigh. We're going to stand up, lifting the right knee up towards the chest. Flex your right foot. And then take your right heel back for an airplane pose. Long back leg, long arms, big open chest and shoulders. Pull your right knee back towards your chest. Hands go back up overhead. We're going to step into warrior one. So put your right foot forward, pivot your back heel to the ground. We get a little more wibbly wobbly with that entrance, but that's okay. Lift your hands up over your shoulders. Make sure you've got lines from your ears through your shoulders to your hip bones, hands to elbows to shoulders. Sit down low into your front leg. And then focus your eyes. Straighten out your front leg. Hinge from your hips. Fold your way forward. Long, dramatic pyramid pose. Stretching into the back of your right thigh. Again, choosing release instead of anything else. Bring a bend into the right knee. Turn your back toes forward. We'll take standing splits on this side. So we'll press the right foot down to lift up through the left leg. Lower your left toes down so they line up with your right. And we're gonna inhale into Utkatasana. We'll bend our knees, take the hips down low. Bring your hands together at your heart. Press the palms together like you mean it, so your chest is active. And then turn to the right. We're gonna put our left elbow on our right leg. Again, find that connection between your palms. Press into it to help bring more opening through your chest and shoulders. Move your way back towards center. And on your exhale, fold your way forward. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to high plank. Again, option to flow or go straight back to your downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Pull forward to your plank pose. By 10 counts, we're going to lower our way down to the mat. So we're really going to exert deliberate movement here. You can use your knees. We'll lower now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way down to the ground. We're gonna come into a Sphinx pose. So we will put our forearms down on the mat, elbows under shoulders, fingertips pointing forward. Now, I know the tendency is to relax. That's what we're here to do, but we don't want to like hang ourselves on our shoulders. We want to have some integrity through our upper back. So focus on lengthening your spine as much as you can. You've got that upward lift through your spine, and then we're not like caving in. We're not dumping in to our shoulders and just hanging our muscles off our bones. Focus your eyes ahead of you. And then if you'd like, you could close your eyes or keep your gaze really soft. One of the things I love most about full moons is that it reminds me how important both sides of the spectrum are. We need form, we need like this tangible realm to operate in. It makes it, really nice and easy to know it's real. But we also need that like mystical stuff of magic and miracles and transformation, the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. If that spectrum was a really long hallway, and one end of the hallway was the form end, the Taurus end, the tangible end, and the other end was the butterfly, the metamorphosis, the transformation. Like, how far down the hallway would you be? Let's press into our palms to lift the elbows up off of the mat. And then we'll thread the right arm under the left arm, coming down to rest on our right shoulder. Now let your body soften. See if you can release control with each exhale. Just send it out with your breath out. Control of your body, control of situations, control of the patterns, the shapes that you like to hold in your body. Scorpio and Taurus are part of the fixed family of signs. That means that their energy is more directed at holding the fort down. It's more directed at control and being a little bit stubborn and wanting to make sure that nothing shifts or changes without permission. So all this extra noise with Scorpio Taurus might make us feel a little more stubborn than normal. Might make us feel like we want to control situations a little bit more than normal. And just consider all the different ways that can show up. A lot of people say, I don't have control issues, but then they'll get mad at you for doing things your own way. That's a control issue. Let's move to the other side. Let's untangle our arms and then take the left arm under the right arm, crawl your fingertips away from your body, and then come to rest on your left shoulder. As we think about these things, continue to release your judgment, because it's not like controlling situations doesn't have a useful purpose in some situations. Being in control keeps you safe. Being in control ensures that you get your desired outcome, or at least increases the chances of it happening. But when we exert control often, I think we forget that we can only control ourselves. That's really all we can do. We can't control how people perceive us. We can't control how external situations unfold, but we can control how we react, how we respond, and how we let go of judgment. Let's unwind our arms on this side and stack the palms and bring your forehead to the backs of your hands just for a moment. Bring a bend into your knees, take your heels from side to side. Take your legs long, bring your hands beside your ribs. Let's press up into a cobra. And then from our cobra, move your hips back to a child's pose. Let's take our knees wide, send your hips down to your heels, rest your forehead down on the mat, and let your body just be at peace here. Let it soften here. I tend to think that control isn't an issue for me because I'm generous, because I want people to be comfortable and happy and feel good. So I used to just write it off. Like I don't, that isn't me. I don't have that problem. But I realized how I won't ask people for help because I don't want them to do it their way. I want them to do it my way. And so it's just easier if I don't ask for help at all. And that's control. It's very sneaky how we justify and explain and reason different parts of ourselves away. Let's shift our bodies up and out of child's pose to tabletop, then to find our seat on the ground and come down onto our backside. Lower your spine, lower your head, and then cross your right ankle over your left knee. We're going to pull our knees in towards our chest for a reverse pigeon. Relax your jaw, your eyes, your temples, your shoulders, your hips. Let's come back to center and move to the opposite side. Take your left ankle over your right knee, grab onto your right leg, pull your legs towards your chest. Another funny example of Scorpio Taurus. So Charlie's a Taurus and I'm a Scorpio. So this is our moon. But last night we went for a bike ride and he was talking about the gears and what gear to put my bike in. And I'm like, I literally don't know. I don't know what any of them do. I've never messed with them. What if I break it and I can't change gears forever? So I've never explored what the gears do. And I'm trying to ask him, like, does this make it easier or harder? And all he's doing is explaining to me like the mechanics of the bicycle and like very practical, very all about the form and the function. And no matter how I phrase my question, but like, what does that mean? He just got more in depth in the details. Let's release this leg. We're going to take our arms open into a T. Cross your right knee over your left and drop your knees to the left so you come into a big twist. I think I asked him 3 different times what the heck he was like, what that means, what he was saying. And I kind of thought he was just messing with me because it's like, I don't know how you could just blatantly not answer my question like that. And I actually got really frustrated. I don't get frustrated with him very often. But it just now, I mean, it got funny the further away I got from the situation. But it was like, wow, of course, the Taurus is explaining how it works from a very tangible, measurable level. And the Scorpio wants to know how it feels. Like, what is this equating to? What does this mean for me, the driver of the bicycle? And Scorpio Taurus, where do you fall in that hallway? Are you more on the practical or more on the how does this feel? What are the implications of this for my spirit, for my soul, for my body? Let's move this twist to the other side. Cross my left leg, cross your left leg over, drop your knees off to the right, and then turn your eyes off to the left. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And then make your way to a neutral spine. We're going to unwind and start to move into a final resting pose. Take your legs long, or maybe you put them up the wall, or whatever feels the best for you. Now, I don't highlight the differences of Scorpio Taurus, so we can think that one is better than the other. I do, so we can see the value in the other. So we can appreciate both ends and see how we can serve ourselves with both sides of the spectrum. So even if you just very naturally are placed more on one side or the other, it's important to have love and appreciation for that. But I also think it's important to have love and appreciation for the counterpart to that. I think because Charlie has his skills and I have my skills, we're stronger as a pair of people. I think we can find that within ourselves too by appreciating and recognizing the value of the opposite side. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And then wiggle your fingers. Take your arms over your head. Find a big, big stretch. Relax with your exhale. And then bring your knees towards your heart and move your body up to a seated position. Take your time. We're going to stack our ears over our shoulders, over our hips. Connect your hands together at your heart center. And let's say just a little prayer of gratitude for form and for the formless, our spirit, our metamorphosis. Thank you to both. With all my love and all my gratitude, namaste.